Everyone, this is Evelyn Deanda, and I will be covering the chapter titled Discovering Your Authentic Leadership by Bill George, Peter Sims, Andrew McLean, and Diana Mayer. Alright, so I will be covering other topics a little bit more in depth, but the main topics that will be covered are in this summary: learning from your life story, knowing your authentic self, practicing your values and principles, balancing your motivations, building your support team, staying grounded, and last but not least, empowering people to lead. During the past 50 years, leadership scholars have conducted over 1,000 studies in an attempt to determine the ultimate styles, characteristics, or personality traits of a great leader. These studies have not produced any results showing a clear profile of what those are, which is good. It just means that we can all be authentic. We don't need to try to be someone else and fit into this cookie cutter as the chapter describes. Again, the positive outcome from these failed results. No one can be authentic, like I mentioned before, if they're trying to replicate someone else. You can also learn from others. You can be genuine and authentic, which creates trust in return. However, you do need to know who you are. This chapter also briefly covers Bill George's book, Authentic Leadership, Rediscovering the Secrets to Creating Lasting Value, and he challenges a new generation to lead authentically. He describes an authentic leader as one who demonstrates passion for their purpose. They lead with their hearts as well as their minds. They establish long-term and meaningful relationships. Again, they know who they are. Many readers of authentic leadership, including many CEOs, indicated their strong desire to become authentic leaders, but they wanted to know how. As a result, a research team set up to answer the question. Over 125 people were interviewed. The age range was from 25 to 93, females and males. They selected based on their effectiveness and authenticity, and they all came from diverse backgrounds. This research delivered promising results. 1, you do not have to be born with a specific characteristic or trait. 2, you do not have to be at the top of your organization to be an authentic leader. And last but not least, you can discover your potential right now. This chapter also goes into a little bit more in depth about your learning from your personal story. You can find the inspiration to make an impact in the world. It is your personal narrative that matters. That permanent recording playing in your head is where you learn from, you grow from. It is your experiences that can make you an authentic leader. Sticking still with learning from your life story, the chapter covered one particular leader in this subject. His name is Daniel Vasella. This man had a very sad upbringing, and that is somewhat of an understatement. I won't cover everything, but quick summary. At a very young age, he had tuberculosis, and then he had meningitis. He was sent away for care. His parents barely visited him. His sister died at the age of 18 due to cancer. Yet this man, at the age of 20, enrolled in medical school. And after that, he tried to become a chief physician, where he was denied the opportunity due to his young age. But this still didn't stop him. He ended up becoming the CEO for Vasella in 1996, a big pharmaceutical company. In deciding on who I would select as my example of an authentic leader, I had to go with Stephen Hawking. This man had an incredible life story. By the age of 21, he had ALS. Soon after, he lost complete mobility and speech. He had to speak through a speech generating device, yet none of this stopped him. He still had a passion. He knew he had a purpose. So instead of focusing on his disabilities, he kept pushing forward. Not only did he become the world's greatest scientist, he was also a professor and an author. He performed groundbreaking work in physics.
I hope I will be remembered for my work on black holes and the origin of the universe, not for things like appearing on The Simpsons. It has been a glorious time to be alive and doing research in theoretical physics. Our picture of the universe has changed a great deal in the last 50 years, and I'm happy if I have made a small contribution.
Knowing your authentic self, which requires self-awareness, courage, honesty, and vulnerability. Practicing your values and principles. These values and principles derive from your beliefs and convictions. The question is, will you be able to stay true to your values under pressure? The chapter used John Huntsman as an example of someone who went into a stressful situation, did not think it through, and he ended up turning his back on his values and principles. He was the chairman of Huntsman Corporation and worked under the Nixon administration in 1972, shortly before the Watergate scandal. One day he was asked to entrap a California congressman who had been opposing a White House initiative. Again, he reacted too quickly and he was under pressure, so he ended up saying yes. However, soon after, before it actually went forward, he called it off and he was quoted saying, "I don't want to play this game." He ended up leaving the administration 6 months later. Leaders need to understand their levels of motivation. It is critical for them to know what drives them. It is also important for their lives to be in balance. This doesn't just mean to be in balance at work. It means with your family, with your social life, pretty much balanced overall. There are two types of motivations. The first one is the extrinsic motivations that come from recognition and status, such as bonuses, promotions, social recognition. The next one is intrinsic motivations. This is more of a sense of meaning of life. It's linked more to your life story. Building your support team. Leaders cannot succeed on their own. I mean, we obviously all know that, even on a team, a basketball team. Such as when Kobe was actually a good NBA player before he retired. Yes, he was great and all, but he couldn't do it without his team. Authentic leaders build extraordinary support teams. Again, same example, Lakers. You must have good players on the team to win. I mean, that wasn't always the case. Last, leaders must give as much support to the supporters as they get from them. Staying grounded. Staying grounded involves leading a balanced life, which can be hard sometimes, but you need to learn to remain steady and confident, be disciplined, learn ways of handling stress, allow yourself some time for physical exercise. And there's many more things we can put on the list, as mentioned in the chapter, such as involving yourself socially, going out with your friends, spending time with your family. Again, living a well-balanced life overall. Empowering people to lead. Authentic leaders recognize true leadership. They inspire those around them and the ones that actually don't report directly to them. They empower others to step up and lead. As the book defines, authentic leaders recognizes that leadership is not about their success or about getting loyal subordinates to follow them. They know the key to a successful organization is having empowered leaders at all levels, including those who have no direct reports. In conclusion, you do not have to be born with any particular trait or characteristic to be an authentic leader. Your journey begins when you understand your life story. You don't have to be on top of your organization to be an authentic leader. Authentic leaders work on their self-awareness. They also have a support team. Last, Authentic leadership is the only path to long-term results. Well, guys, that's it. I hope I didn't bore you too much. I look forward to your comments and questions. Thank you very much.